What's up, talented teachers? Welcome to Creative Ideas for Teaching English. If you are already subscribed, then welcome back. But if you're new, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join us on our amazing journey, because each time we try to choose an important topic to discuss, share ideas and experience together. Well, let's get back to that design. I have intended to include it just at the beginning because I think that it's the right place to include this design, because today's topic needs us to be really brave and strong to overcome all troubles. As I promised, here I come today with a new video about one of the most important days in any teacher's career, which is CAPEM Day. Many teachers feel anxious, sometimes depressed, or even stressed and nervous when this day comes. So today we want to shed some light over this issue in order just to help you overcome all your fear and get really started for this amazing day. But before we talk about anything else, let's first understand what is this certification date. What is it meant for? I think that this day means almost nothing if it's not preceded by a real training for the trainee himself. It's just like a surgeon who has plenty of theories in mind about how to run a surgery, but he has never been or has never seen a real surgery. That's why the surgeon has first to attend real surgeries with real experienced surgeons in the field. Then he starts helping, and finally he could do a surgery himself without the help of anybody else, under supervision for sure, for a period of time till he masters his work. This metaphor means that the CAPEM day or the certification day would be useless if the teacher or the trainee here did not pass through all these steps. Recently, the inspectors are sending trainees to trainers with a report to be filled, and I think that it's an excellent point, an excellent thing to do according to my humble experience. Well, at first, when we talk about this training, the trainee has to attend sessions with the trainer or the performer. He is going to attend different sessions with different frameworks, for example, a listening, maybe a reading, grammar, pronunciation, in order to have different ideas about what's going on, how to deal with each lesson aside. The trainee has to be curious. You as a trainee have to be curious. You have to ask as much as you can of questions, because you want to reveal the ambiguous points in your mind. You want to clarify things, so you have to oblige the trainer to give you as much as he can or he can of information. So it's your duty to oblige. It's your duty to get these information from the trainer's mind. After this observation, time for the trainee to present lessons in front of the trainer himself. Now, after you have gathered the information, it's your time to reinvest what you've learned in real lesson presentations. Of course, as I said, in different frameworks, so that here the trainer would guide you, encourage the good points, and give you other remarks on things that you did not master, so that you overcome these problems the coming days. This training is very important for both parties, for the trainer and for the trainee himself. How? For the trainer, for example, when you're asked to train someone, you have to search. You have to look for more information. So here you are refreshing your information, you are refreshing your mind, you are refreshing your knowledge. You have to give pieces of advice, you have to encourage, guide, give positive feedback for this trainee. Also, for the trainee, it's important because he is learning here. So it is a mutual, let's say, support. It's a mutual learning. It's a mutual discovery of new objects, because even the trainer could learn from the trainee. A piece of advice for both trainer and trainee: take this work seriously, because it's really important for both of you. So it's really important to give this phase in the teacher's life the great importance. After this training, CAPEM Day will come as a day of exam to see whether you have learned from this experience or not. I believe in the fact that any teacher, no matter grade is he or she is, he or she is a trainee his entire life. We are all learning and we will never stop learning. The CAPEM Day is not the end. Actually, it's the right beginning. It's the beginning for a long journey of success and failure. You will fail today and you will succeed tomorrow. It's through mistakes that we learn. During that day, the inspector will take 2 teachers as members of the jury in order to visit at the back of the classroom, watching your performance without interrupting you till you finish your work. Today's video will be a PDP framework: pre-certification, during, and post-certification. So we're going to start with different aspects. The first one, we're going to speak about the psychological readiness of the teacher, then the necessary documents that the teacher should possess, and here we're talking about the pre-certification day. Next, we are going to speak about the performance inside the classroom, and it's the most important thing that the teacher should focus on. How do you perform? How do you transfer knowledge to your learners? I'm going to give you some pieces of advice. Finally, we're talking about the discussion after you present your lessons. Of course, you're going to discuss these lessons and you will have some kind of questions. So I have tried to gather some important questions that you may encounter during your certification day. Okay, let's start with the first aspect, which is the psychological readiness of the teacher. Well, here you need to be strong. It is not judgment day. It's not the end of the world. You have to be optimist. You have to be relaxed. Also, you need to be positive. Think positively. Don't listen to negative people, and try to be positive and calm down. Because if you feel not relaxed, if you feel panicked, things are going to be really a mess. Even you know the information, even you are able to give more and a better way, you will fail because of this fear. CAPEM Day is a day like all days. It's not different. Forget about all these members of the jury or the inspector at the back of the classroom. Think of yourself with your learners alone as usual. Try to be relaxed. Try to be at ease. Don't panic. Proceed. Speak with your learners. Laugh with your learners. Do your best in order to get rid of this anxiety. Next, we talk about the necessary documents that the teacher should possess. Well, I have already dealt with this in a video, and I'm gonna leave the link in the eye above you. You can click, you will find a further explanation on this topic. Yet I have to mention them once more. First of all, you need your lesson plan, which is very important. Also, you need a yearly planning. You need your daily logbook or copybook. Also, you need the marking copybook, and you need your textbook. Okay, for the lesson plan, it's very important to have a detailed lesson plan on the procedure you're going to follow. The yearly plan is important, so I'm not going into details concerning this. I'm going to leave the link at the end of the video or in the eye. You can click and you go back to that video so that you can see how you deal with all these, except for the textbook, which is the one I have not mentioned in that video. So the textbook is the summary of what you have done during the classroom. So you write what you have finished on that textbook. Now we're going to have some pieces of advice when we come to preparation. Organization is very important, but the content is what matters. Here, when I speak about, for example, the lesson plan, yes, it's nice to organize it, but don't exaggerate in organization and forget about the content, which is the most important part here. Also, You need to design several copies of your lesson plans. Why? Because you're going to present your documents, including these lesson plans, in front of the jury members and the inspector. They need to have a concrete sample in front of them just to have a look and have an idea about what you're going to present. So once the jury members and the inspector are inside the classroom, take your textbook, daily copybook, the yearly planning, and the copies of your lesson plans and present them in front of them. Of course, you need to correct the copybooks of your learners at least once. So your copybooks, the copybooks of your learners should be corrected, and of course you could highlight several mistakes here and there in order to guide your learners for the first place, and that you have completed your mission in correcting their copybooks. Next, we jump into the performance inside the classroom and some pieces of advice. This is the most important part. This is during the certification date. If you fail here, then there is no certification. So get ready for many pieces of advice here. So let's jump into it. Before I start talking about the points that I have mentioned here, please don't start your lesson before the jury and the inspector arrive. So once they arrive, you need to welcome them, accompany them to their seats, and provide them with the necessary documents that I have already talked about. Now we come to the important pieces of advice that you should do or avoid or whatever. The first important thing is avoid spelling mistakes on the board. It's of crucial importance, and it is not allowed at all. You have to avoid spelling mistakes on the board. Do not do these spelling mistakes, please. Number 2, avoid knowledge mistakes or information mistakes. For example, if you want to speak about a country or an animal or whatever, you need to give true information to your learners. Next, the smart use of the board is of great importance. Why? Because once things are clear and organized, learners will have it, learners will copy on their copybooks, and it will be clear for them to do that. So you need to use colors for the first place. Even though you have a bad handwriting like mine, try to write in clear letters. Of course, when we come to the use of the board, there are 3 parts. Personally, I use the middle part to write the date, sequence, lesson. Here you can even invite your learners to write the lesson, sequence, and date, because it's learner-centric. So the other side, which is next to the desk, I use it for information, for the new keywords or new words that learners will take to write on their note copybooks. So generally, this is the way I organize my board. Next, we speak about time management. I think that it's really important to think about time management, because the members of the jury and the inspector are counting. They are looking at your lesson plan with the timing. So you need to give each task the appropriate time devoted to it. So please put a watch on your hand and don't forget about time. Next, it is learner-centered, as I said before. So teachers' talking time should be less than learners' talking time. So give your learners the opportunity to speak, to express themselves, and to run the lesson in general. Also, now we speak about the position of the teacher while explaining. Some teachers tend to move around and explain. Well, here you should face your learners. So you should stand in front of all the learners and explain. Do not move here and there or going to and fro. So try to sit in one position so that all learners are focused on what you say, not what you're doing. Next, we go to the position of the teacher when learners are doing the tasks. The teacher should move around, check and help. Why? Because it's the role of the teacher to guide learners, so he has to check whether learners are doing the task the way they have to do or not. Try to go to all learners, especially those at the back. So please try to involve all learners, the majority of learners in fact, because I think that it's impossible to involve every single person, especially during this pandemic. Time is 45 minutes. It's really hard for you to manage your time, so please use simple, precise and concise. Also, I have to mention here that your instructions on the board should be clear and to the point. They should not be ambiguous, so try to use clear, simple instructions, task instructions in fact, for your learners. And of course, the most important thing is that you should achieve your objective. The objective of your lesson should be achieved so that we can see it on the field. I know that it's very difficult, and I know that theories are like a dream, but the real field is a battle, so you should win this battle. Now we go to after certification date. So our lesson is about to end, so we speak about what would happen and some legislation and questions that might be asked during the discussion. So after you finish your presentation of your lessons, of course you're going to present lessons with two different levels, with two different frameworks. Okay, for example, you present a listening lesson and a grammar one, so that we can see different frameworks and how do you proceed and how do you handle them. After that, we go to discussion, and here when we come to discussion, of course they will discuss your let's say your performance. Be ready to accept all negative let's say points and positive ones as well, so please take a note with you. Whenever they give you a piece of advice, note it down so that they see that you are interested on what they are saying. You are not careless, so try to take notes. Of course you can discuss, why not. Some people say that when the inspector and the members of the jury speak, you should keep silent. I think that both parties should express themselves. Even the trainee, he has got points in mind, he translated them or he transferred them into practice using these tasks and these information, so there is no harm in defending your point of view. But once they show you the negative, and once they show you the weak points in your idea, here you are convinced in a positive way. So no harm in expressing yourself in a polite way, of course. Don't attack, don't be aggressive, just calm down, accept any kind of, let's say, feedback, either negative or positive, because these members of the jury and the inspector are here to help you. You have to accept their help. They are giving you a helping hand, so accept this helping hand with an open heart. You should trust them, because these teachers are experienced and they know not better than you. We all have knowledge in our minds, but experience plays a role. And I believe that even trainees or trainers, all of them have ideas. They are able to teach. I don't say that an old or an experienced teacher is better than a trainee one. I do not believe in this point, but I believe in the fact of experience, because experience plays a great importance in the performance of any teacher. Once you finish the discussion of the lessons presented, of course they will start with your positive points. They will thank you for the efforts that you made. They will thank you for your passion in your work, etc. Now comes the point for some questions. They are about legislation or maybe psychology or things related on how to deal with your learners. So some of the questions also, they can put you in a real problem-solving situation. For instance, they may ask you, if a troublemaker, you're presenting your lesson and a troublemaker is doing, let's say, voices behind, how would you deal with this situation? This is one of the situations that we all suffer from time to time. They may ask you, if you are presenting the lesson and you find that learners do not understand, what would you do in return? Would you change the lesson? What would you do? these are some kinds of questions. Also, we come to the legislation, and there are some questions that I have prepared for you. Try to fetch for the necessary information concerning these. Well, first of all, you need to know about your rights. Any teacher should know about his rights. So what are your rights? And of course, with rights you have duties. What are the teacher's rights and duties? Fetch for more information when it comes to holidays, when it comes to the wage, when it comes to how to deal with learners, etc. There are plenty of information. Classroom councils, here we have what do we do during these classroom councils, who attends, what do we discuss, etc. Also, we speak about the learning councils, when, who, where, etc. Also, we speak about the holidays. There are different kinds of holidays, paid ones, etc. So you need to know about these. Some necessary rules like that of violence against learners. So you need to know about some important laws in the legislation chart. They can put you in a problem, as I said before, situation. The coordination between teachers, what do you do, what do you write, why do you do that, etc. Also, we speak about pedagogy days. What do you do during these pedagogy days? What do you deal with? Where do you go? How? Who? Etc. So you think about all these kinds of questions. So please try to read a little bit about these information on the legislation chart so that you understand better. Well, now I'm going to speak about my experience during that day of, let's say, certification day. Well, I remember it. It was 12 years ago. I remember it very well. I remember that I presented 2 lessons, one with second MS and one with first MS. I think it was the last sequence and it was the beginning. In April. It's really strange, you know, that April learners are forgetting all about learning, etc. But it was great. I passed it without fear. I don't fear because I believe in failure and success. So don't panic, don't think that it's the end of the world. Even though you are not certified, the day will come so that you get certified. Believe me, my certification date was amazing, and even the inspector was a good, fair man. He has really helped me, and I remember that very well. Well, what I want to tell you that even though sometimes teachers come and find you in a bad situation because there are ups and downs in life, don't teach for the sake of inspectors, because if you do that, you will fail. So I remember very well, after 6 years after my work, an inspector came and paid me a visit, and I'm not ashamed of that because I believe in failure and success. He came and he found me dealing with the correction of the test without bringing the copies with me. He was annoyed, he was mad, he asked me to change that lesson. After that, we had some discussion, and after that discussion, few days, he sent me a warning with -2. With -2. At that time, really, I felt annoyed. I cried, maybe, I don't remember very well, because I don't deserve that. Yes, even though it was a mistake, but it's not that bad so that I get this. But I have accepted it as an experience. I shared this, let's say, hard experience with you just to tell you that it's never late to change. It's never late to learn. Each time we learn, each time we get new experiences in life. So don't stick to the certification day, because this certification day is just the beginning to a long journey of success and failure, as I said before. Believe in yourselves. Believe that you are not, yes, you're novice teachers, but experience will come. Each day you are experienced, and the day after you will have double experience, etc. So believe in yourselves. Believe that you are a good teacher. Believe that you're doing your best to achieve your mission the best way. Believe that, and I believe in you as novice teachers, because I see many of you seeking information here and there, not just for the certification day, but for daily basis. So I wish you the best of luck during your certification day. Remember, you're strong to face any trouble. Don't panic. They are not here to judge you. They are here to help you. So be optimist. Thank you so much for watching my video, and if you have any questions, if you have inquiries, if you have some requests, please don't hesitate to mention them in the comments down below, or you can even contact me on my Facebook page. You will find it in the description box, and even my email, so I can help you during your certification day or any other day. So wish you the best of luck. See you in another video.